Have you ever wondered why the path to greatness feels so empty? Why, when you finally decide to chase something bigger than comfort, the world around you suddenly grows quiet? The truth is, the higher you aim, the fewer people walk beside you. It's not because you're doing something wrong. It's because you're finally doing something real. And real change, real growth, that demands a different version of you. One that's not distracted, not dependent, not waiting for permission. One that dares to walk alone. In the beginning, loneliness doesn't feel noble. It feels like abandonment, like you've been left behind, like you're moving forward but losing everything familiar. And that's terrifying. The silence starts screaming, the doubts creep in, you question yourself, your direction, even your worth. But that's part of the process. Every step you take away from the crowd, you step closer to who you were meant to become. And while that road is quiet, it is not empty. It is filled with potential, with clarity, with fire. It's where noise turns into focus, where doubt becomes determination. Most people never get there. They turn back the moment the applause fades. They crave validation. They need someone to say you're doing great, but not you. You're here because something inside you refuses to settle. You've tasted the bitterness of mediocrity and decided you want more. That kind of hunger demands sacrifice. And sometimes that sacrifice is company. Sometimes it's comfort. But what you gain is far more powerful than what you lose. You gain time, energy, mental clarity. You gain the ability to listen to your own voice, unfiltered, undistracted. This is the test most never pass. Because walking alone doesn't just take strength, it takes courage, it takes vision. You have to be willing to be misunderstood, judged, doubted. You have to be willing to keep moving forward even when no one claps, no one calls, no one cares. But here's the secret. That silence, that solitude, that's where the transformation begins. That's where average ends and extraordinary starts. Stay with me, because what's coming next will change how you see everything. You're not alone in feeling alone. The most successful people in the world walked through that same storm. They stood in the same silence. They faced the same fear. And they came out on the other side, not because they were lucky, but because they refused to stop. They refused to turn around. They kept walking, and you can too. If you've ever felt like giving up because the journey feels too lonely, this is your reminder. The loneliness isn't the end. It's the beginning. It's the signal that you've broken free from the ordinary, that you're finally on the path that leads somewhere powerful. So don't run from it. Don't fear it. Embrace it. Because the one who walks alone today becomes the one who stands above tomorrow. And that, if you have the strength to stay, is where greatness lives. People won't understand what you're building because they can't see what you see. They don't feel what you feel. They haven't been called to what's pulling you forward. And that's why walking this path will often feel like isolation. It's not because you're wrong. It's because you've chosen a direction that doesn't make sense to people who've accepted average. When your vision outgrows the room you're in, don't shrink it, change the room. But understand this, not everyone will follow. Most will question you. Some will mock you. And many will quietly hope you fail just to feel better about never trying themselves. That hurts. You'll want their approval. You'll crave their support. You'll wonder why they can't just see how much this matters to you. But the truth is, your transformation threatens their comfort. Your discipline exposes their excuses. Your ambition reminds them of what they gave up on. And so they distance themselves not because you changed, but because you grew. And growth always creates friction. It's easier for people to pull you back than to rise with you. So they'll try. They'll plant seeds of doubt. They'll tell you you're crazy, unrealistic, too obsessed. Don't listen. They don't see the world the way you do because they haven't dared to look past their limits. Your vision was given to you for a reason. It's yours, not theirs. Stop waiting for validation from those who don't have the courage to chase their own dreams. Stop expecting understanding from people who never dared to imagine more. Some journeys are designed to be walked alone, not because you're meant to suffer, but because you're meant to lead. And leaders go first. Leaders get misunderstood. They stand out, stand alone, and keep standing long after others sit down. If you're feeling misunderstood, you're not on the wrong path. You're just ahead of your time. You don't need the world to get it. You don't need the crowd to believe. You just need one person. You. You need your own conviction, your own commitment, your own courage to keep walking, even when the only sound is your heartbeat and the echo of your footsteps. That's where strength is built. That's where certainty is forged. Alone in the quiet, while the world watches, waits, and wonders if you'll make it, and when you do, and you will, they'll call you lucky. But luck had nothing to do with it. It was clarity. It was perseverance. It was walking through misunderstanding without losing direction. Let them question you. Let them whisper. Let them doubt. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to break out. And the more they resist your path, the more you know it's yours. Hold that truth. Let it become your armor. Let it be the fire that keeps you moving forward. Because the moment you stop needing their approval is the moment you step into your power. Growth never comes wrapped in comfort. It shows up as discomfort, resistance, and pain, and most people run from it because they don't understand it. But you're different. You're still here. You felt the sting of being alone, misunderstood, judged, and you kept going. That's not weakness, that's power. Because discomfort isn't your enemy. It's the doorway to every breakthrough you've ever wanted. It's the resistance that sharpens your edge, the silence that forces you to listen, and the pressure that reveals what you're truly made of. When you embrace discomfort, you begin to unlock a part of yourself most people never meet. This is the training ground, not in applause, not in support, but in silence. In the moments where your body wants rest, but your soul demands more, where every excuse feels justified, and still you rise. Discomfort strips away what's fake. It removes the masks. It humbles your ego and elevates your purpose. Most will avoid it their entire lives, building routines around safety, comfort, predictability. But comfort never created anything legendary. What changes lives, what builds legacies, is forged in fire, yours included. Every moment you lean into the hard things, you teach your mind something new. You rewire your response to adversity. You transform pain into progress. You stop seeing struggle as a setback and start seeing it as a sign you're on the edge of your next level. This is where mental toughness is born, not through perfect days or easy wins, but through relentless perseverance when everything inside you says quit. And when you override that voice, when you act anyway, that's when identity shifts. You stop identifying as someone trying, and you become someone becoming. You're not just facing challenges, you're being forged by them. That discomfort you're feeling, that's your invitation. That's the voice whispering, keep going, you're close. The people who stop here never know what they could have become. But you're not stopping. You're learning how to keep your head up in storms, how to breathe under pressure, how to walk through fire without losing your focus. That kind of strength can't be taught. It's earned. And you're earning it right now. So stop wishing it were easier. Start deciding to be stronger. Let the discomfort stretch you. Let it mold you. Let it reveal the hunger inside you that refuses to be silenced. Because once you've tasted growth, comfort will never satisfy you again. You'll want more. And you'll be willing to endure more to get it. That's what separates those who dream from those who do, those who wish from those who win. This is not punishment. This is preparation. This is the version of you the world will respect. Not because you were lucky, but because you were unshakable. Feel the discomfort, but don't run. Stand in it. Let it teach you. Let it burn away the weak parts. Because the fire you're walking through now is creating the future you've always wanted. And once you pass through it, nothing will ever break you again. There's a truth that most people refuse to accept. No one is coming to save you. No one owes you support. No one is required to understand your path, carry your burden, or believe in your mission. And the sooner you stop expecting others to be your fuel, the sooner you ignite your own fire. Waiting for constant encouragement is the fastest way to kill your momentum. If your drive depends on applause, you'll only move when others say you can. And that is not freedom, that is not power, that is a cage. You were not born to be fueled by permission. You were born to rise through conviction. The world has conditioned you to believe that success requires support, that every great move needs to be met with validation, but that's not how greatness works. The ones who reach it are the ones who keep going when it's dead silent, when the phone stops ringing, when the check-ins disappear, when the encouragement dries up. They keep moving because they know the mission was never about being seen. It was about becoming. And becoming doesn't need witnesses. It needs commitment. You will be tested. You will have moments where you wonder if anyone cares. You'll ask yourself if the work you're doing matters, if the sacrifices are worth it, if the silence is a sign to stop. But it's not. It's a sign to keep going. Because silence isn't absence, it's space. It's the space where your real strength is born. It's the silence that forces you to rely on yourself, to hear your own voice, to know that what you're building is real. When no one is watching and you still give everything you've got, that's authenticity. That's who you really are. Stop chasing constant connection. It weakens your edge. Needing others to lift you every step of the way robs you of your own power. Learn to generate your own momentum. Learn to hold yourself to a higher standard even when no one's checking. That's how self-trust is built. That's how leadership is forged. You stop needing to be carried because you've learned how to stand on your own. And once you've done that, you're unstoppable. There is a freedom in knowing you can survive without being seen, a power in pushing forward even when the room is empty. That's when you become dangerous, because nothing can stop a person who no longer needs permission to move. No opinion can slow them. No absence can break them. They've trained in solitude. They've mastered the grind in silence. They've shown up for themselves when no one else did. That is real power. That is unshakable strength. So let go of the expectation that someone's going to walk this path with you. Let go of the need to be carried. You've got everything inside you already. The road ahead is yours, and you don't need anyone to believe in it. You just need to believe in yourself enough to walk it, alone, all the way. There is a strange power in silence, a clarity that noise can never bring. When the world goes quiet, when the distractions fade, when it's just you and your thoughts, that's when you finally meet the real version of yourself. No filters, no performances, no need to impress, just raw, unedited truth. Most people fear that moment. They run from silence because they're afraid of what they'll hear. But you don't run. You stand still. You listen. Because deep down you know that silence isn't the enemy, it's the mirror. And it reflects everything, your doubts, your dreams, your fears, your fire. This is where self-mastery begins. Not in front of an audience, but in the quiet hours when no one's watching. When you could scroll, quit, or sleep, but instead you think, you reflect, you choose to stay present. That's not weakness, that's discipline. It's in that stillness that your mind sharpens, your focus deepens, and your clarity cuts through the fog. In silence, distractions die, lies fade, excuses lose power, and what remains is you, focused, aligned, intentional. That version of you is unstoppable because that version of you can't be shaken by opinions, setbacks, or noise. The greatest breakthroughs don't happen in chaos. They happen in quiet. But quiet is earned. You have to shut out the noise, the judgment, the outside voices. You have to create space, not just in your environment, but in your mind. You have to protect your peace like your future depends on it, because it does. If your mind is always reacting, always absorbing, always consuming, you'll never create anything powerful. You'll just echo what others say. But if you guard your mental space, if you learn to sit with your thoughts, if you embrace the silence, you start to think differently. And those different thoughts lead to a different life. This is where vision is born, not in noise, but in solitude. Because it's only when everything else fades that you can hear what your soul has been trying to say. And what it's saying is this: keep going, stay locked in, you're not crazy, you're committed. You're not lost, you're leveling up. Silence doesn't mean absence, it means presence. It means you're finally tuned into something deeper than trends, opinions, or approval. You're listening to the one voice that truly matters, your own. Don't run from the quiet, enter it, master it, use it. That silence is a weapon, and when you've trained in it long enough, you emerge with a mind that's unshakable, a heart that's clear, and a purpose that can't be moved. This is where true strength is forged, not in noise, not in chaos, but in control. And control begins in your mind, in silence, in stillness, in you. So embrace it, protect it. Return to it every time the world tries to pull you off course, because the quiet isn't empty. It's full of answers. You just have to listen. Pain has a voice, and it's always honest. It doesn't lie. It doesn't sugarcoat. It tells you exactly where you're weak, exactly where you've been hiding, exactly what needs to change. Most people run from it. They label it unfair, curse it, escape it with distraction. But the ones who grow, the ones who rise, they listen. They let pain speak. They let it reveal the truth, because behind every painful moment is a powerful message. And if you dare to stay with it, you'll find the exact lesson your next level requires. Rejection, failure, disappointment, none of these are the end. They're direction, they're correction, they're reminders that you are alive, moving, trying. The only people who don't feel pain are the ones who stop chasing something better. And if you feel it now, deeply, consistently, painfully, that's proof you haven't quit. That's the sign you're still in the fight. It hurts because it matters. It stings because it's close. The gap between who you are and who you're becoming isn't closed with comfort. It's closed with courage. The kind of courage that says, I'll stay with this. I won't run. I'll face it. That kind of strength changes everything. It transforms rejection into redirection. It turns failure into refinement. It shapes you into someone who doesn't just survive setbacks, but uses them. Because the pain didn't break you. It broke the illusion. It broke the comfort. It broke the fantasy that greatness would be easy, that progress would be painless. And now what's left is real. Real hunger, real clarity, real power. You're no longer fueled by dreams of ease. You're driven by a deeper truth. This matters too much to give up. Every scar you carry holds a story of strength, not of defeat, but of decision. You chose to stay standing. You chose to keep moving. You chose not to be defined by what didn't work, but to be refined by it. That choice is rare. Most people collapse under pressure. You're turning pressure into power. You're taking every painful moment and turning it into a brick, stacking it, building a foundation that can't be shaken by anything or anyone. You don't need the path to be smooth. You need it to be real. And this is real. Pain doesn't lie. It exposes. It teaches. And when you're willing to learn from it, not avoid it, you become dangerous. Because now you're not just moving forward. You're rising with precision. You're walking with awareness. You've been hit, but you're still here. And that makes you unbreakable. Feel it. Don't numb it. Don't run. Let it shape you. Let it remind you that you're still alive, still reaching, still becoming, and that every painful step forward is proof that you're not done. You're just getting stronger. Let the pain teach you. Let it sharpen you. Let it push you, because the one who walks through pain without quitting becomes the one no pain can ever stop. The path you've chosen is not meant to be crowded. It's not meant to be loud or full of company. The road to something greater is often walked in silence, because most people are unwilling to leave behind the noise. They stay where it's safe, where it's familiar, where there's comfort in numbers, even if it means sacrificing their potential. But not you. You've chosen the road that stretches far beyond the ordinary, and by doing that, you've chosen separation. That's not a weakness, that's a signal. It means you're moving away from the average and stepping into the uncommon. And the uncommon is never crowded. When you walk a new path, you do it alone first. That's not isolation, it's initiation. It's the moment life asks, how badly do you want it? Because if you can't handle the silence, you're not ready for the spotlight. If you can't withstand the distance, you're not built for the destination. You are being conditioned by the journey. It strips away the distractions, the unnecessary, the opinions that used to control you. What remains is focus. What remains is hunger. What remains is you, raw, committed, unstoppable. You don't need a crowd to be validated. You don't need to be surrounded to feel strong. Solitude is not loneliness. It is clarity. It is power. It is the space where your vision expands, where your thoughts sharpen, where your resilience takes root. Most people need constant connection just to feel alive. You've discovered something more powerful, the ability to move without it, to keep going even when no one is watching. That's leadership. That's real strength. When the road is empty, it's easier to hear your purpose. You feel every step more deeply. Every choice becomes deliberate. Every action echoes louder. This is not a weakness. It's a weapon. Because those who can walk alone can go anywhere. They don't get pulled off course by noise. They don't fall apart when the room gets quiet. They've trained for this. You've trained for this. Every mile you've walked alone has made you stronger, more focused, more grounded in who you are and why you started. Let others stay where it's comfortable. Let them blend in. You were never meant to fit. You were meant to lead. And leaders walk ahead, not beside, not behind. Ahead. That's why it's lonely. That's why it feels quiet. But that's also why it's right. Your future is not behind the crowd. It's in the distance, where only the bold dare to go. Stay the course. Walk it with fire in your chest and steel in your spine. Let the quiet sharpen you. Let the distance fuel you. The ones who walk alone build something no crowd can ever take credit for. They don't follow maps, they draw them. And when the world finally sees what you built in silence, they'll call you fearless. But you'll know the truth. You were just willing to walk where others wouldn't. Alone, focused, unstoppable. Not everyone is meant to go with you. Not everyone deserves access to the next chapter of your life. There are people who were only meant to walk with you for a season, not a lifetime. And the more you grow, the more you'll feel it. Their energy shifts, their words change, their presence becomes heavy, not helpful. You start to notice the small comments, the lack of support, the subtle resistance to your progress. And while it may hurt, it's a sign. It means you're evolving beyond the environment that once held you. You're stepping into a new level, and that level requires separation. Some relationships are built on the version of you that you're no longer willing to be. And the moment you decide to rise, those bonds start to break. It's not because you're cruel, it's because you're clear. You can't keep watering dead connections and expect your future to grow. You can't keep explaining your vision to people who have no intention of seeing it. There's a cost to elevation, and sometimes that cost is people, not enemies, not strangers, but the familiar faces who once clapped for your comfort but fall silent when you begin to change. Growth demands boundaries. It demands you protect your space, your energy, your focus. You can't carry everyone with you. If you try, you'll lose yourself in the process. You'll start dimming your light to make others feel comfortable. You'll start apologizing for wanting more. And eventually you'll shrink into a version of yourself that pleases everyone but fulfills no one, especially not you. That's the slow death of potential. And you weren't born to fade, you were born to rise. Letting go doesn't mean you hate them. It means you love yourself enough to choose peace over permission, progress over popularity, alignment over attachment. And that's not easy. It takes strength to walk away from the familiar, but it takes even more strength to stay where you no longer grow. You owe it to yourself to move forward, even if it means moving alone. Because the wrong people will cost you more than time. They'll cost you your purpose. When you release what no longer serves you, you make room for what truly empowers you. You open space for real support, real alignment, real connection. People who don't drain you but drive you. Who don't question your ambition but mirror it. That kind of alignment doesn't come when you're clinging to what's comfortable. It comes when you release the weight that was never yours to carry. So don't fear the separation. Don't mourn what you're outgrowing. Celebrate it. It means you're no longer available for small talk, small thinking, or small dreams. You're creating distance, not out of pride, but out of purpose, because you finally understand your energy is sacred, your time is limited, and your future is too important to be shared with those who can't handle your rise. Let them go, and keep walking forward. The higher you climb, the smaller your circle becomes. That's not a sign of failure. It's a reflection of refinement. As your standards rise, your tolerance lowers. What once felt acceptable now feels like resistance. What once sounded supportive now echoes with limitation. And while part of you may miss the comfort of being surrounded, a deeper part of you knows the truth. You weren't meant to be surrounded, you were meant to be aligned. And alignment is rare. That's why so few walk at your pace. That's why so few understand your urgency, your silence, your hunger. When you raise your frequency, not everyone will hear you. Not everyone is tuned to your growth. Some only loved the version of you that didn't challenge them. That didn't change. That stayed in the same place, repeating the same conversations, avoiding the same risks. But you didn't stay. You moved forward. You demanded more from yourself, and that decision created distance. Not because you wanted separation, but because they chose stillness, and you chose evolution. Greatness filters people out. The more committed you are to your purpose, the more exposed everything around you becomes. You start to notice who drains you, who distracts you, who delays your progress. And with that awareness comes responsibility. You can't pretend you don't see it. You can't unhear the subtle jabs, the passive doubt, the lack of belief. You've grown too much to tolerate what used to pass as love. Love that comes with limits, support that comes with strings, friendship that thrives only when you play small. You're done with that. Real alignment is quiet. It's not flashy. It's not loud. It doesn't beg to be seen. It just fits. It energizes. It accelerates. And until you find it, you must protect your space like your life depends on it. Because it does. Your energy is your currency. Waste it on the wrong people and you go bankrupt in purpose. Invest it in the right direction and you build a life no one can take from you. That kind of focus demands solitude. That kind of vision requires saying no, not out of arrogance, but out of necessity. You're not cutting people off, you're cutting off access to your future for anyone who refuses to grow. You're drawing a line not to separate, but to protect. Because what you're building isn't ordinary. It's sacred. It's rare. And rare things are never placed in careless hands. You're guarding your mission. You're guarding your peace. You're creating an environment where only the true, the driven, and the aligned can stay. Let the world call it lonely. Let them misunderstand. You don't need to explain what they've never experienced. Just keep walking. Keep refining. Keep rising. Your circle may shrink, but your power will expand. And when the dust settles, you'll look around and realize what you lost in quantity, you gained in quality. You don't need many. You just need real. And real will find you when you refuse to settle for anything less. The voice in your head is the most powerful force you'll ever face. It can either be your greatest weapon or your greatest enemy. No one hears it but you. No one battles it but you. And that's why mastering it is not optional. It's everything. Because if you don't take control of that voice, it will control you. It will whisper doubt when you're trying to be bold. It will replay failure when you're trying to move forward. It will cling to fear when you're ready to break free. And if you're not careful, you'll start to believe it. You'll start to treat opinions as truth, emotion as fact, hesitation as wisdom. That's how dreams die, not from outside pressure, but from inner surrender. You have to train that voice to work for you. You have to teach it to speak strength, not weakness, to speak possibility, not limitation. It won't happen by accident. It happens through repetition, through awareness, through daily decisions that feed the mind, not the fear. Every time you choose discipline over doubt, the voice gets stronger. Every time you speak belief instead of excuses, the voice shifts. And the more you shape that inner voice, the more your reality begins to align with your power instead of your past. The greatest battles are invisible. They happen in silence before a move is ever made, before a word is ever spoken. Your body can be strong, your goals can be clear, but if your inner voice is broken, you'll sabotage everything. Because the mind doesn't follow truth, it follows familiarity. If all it knows is fear, that's where it leads. If all it knows is scarcity, that's where it returns. So you have to reprogram it. You have to disrupt the cycle. You have to remind your mind daily, I am capable, I am ready, I am built for this. That voice doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be consistent. It needs to become louder than the doubt, clearer than the fear, and stronger than the noise. That only happens when you make the choice to no longer be a victim of your own mind. You're not here to be held hostage by old thoughts. You're here to lead them, to command them, to train them until they obey your vision, not your history. Every time you speak life over yourself, you build something unshakable. You don't need external approval when you've built internal certainty. You don't need constant support when your mind becomes your home, not your battlefield. That's real power. When your thoughts no longer sabotage your steps and your self-talk becomes your strength, nothing can stop you. The world may try to break you, but if your inner voice is aligned with truth, you won't bend. You'll rise, quietly, powerfully, unapologetically, because you've already won the battle that matters most, the one inside. And when that battle is won, everything else becomes possible. You don't rise by accident, you rise by intention, by choosing every single day to become the person your future demands. That choice is not glamorous, it's not loud, it's not celebrated. It's often made in private, in moments of discomfort, when no one else is around to applaud it. That's where transformation happens, not in public victory, but in private discipline. When you stop chasing temporary pleasure and start aligning with permanent growth, your life begins to change. Not all at once, but piece by piece, layer by layer, thought by thought. That's real evolution. And it starts when you stop hoping for a better life and start becoming the person who builds one. You're not waiting on the right time. You're not waiting on motivation. You're not waiting on someone to push you. That waiting is over. You've already been called. The pain you felt, the hunger that won't go away, the vision that keeps pulling at you, that's not a coincidence. That's a message. That's your signal. It means you're meant for more. And the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be is the version of you that refuses to settle any longer. There is no shortcut, no easy way, no bypass around the work. If you want something greater, you have to become someone greater. And that means facing the habits that keep you stuck, challenging the patterns that waste your time, holding yourself to a standard that doesn't require anyone else to enforce it. Because true power isn't found in moments of motivation. It's found in consistency. When you keep showing up, when you keep doing the work, when you do what's right even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Discipline is freedom. It's the gatekeeper between average and excellence. Most people see it as restriction, as limitation, but it's the opposite. It's the choice to no longer be controlled by impulse, distraction, or emotion. It's the daily decision to act in alignment with your future, not your mood. That kind of self-control doesn't just make you successful. It makes you powerful. Because once you learn to lead yourself, no one can take that from you. That's where your edge lives. This is your responsibility now, to train your mind, to command your habits, to create a life that doesn't just happen by chance, but is built by design. No more waiting, no more blaming, no more hoping someone else sees your potential before you do.